Superbwoman webinar, and our topic today is cause connections. We've got a great topic here today and wonderful speakers, and I'm so excited to have them all here with us. And thank you, all of you who are joining us today. Let me tell you a little bit about myself and what this is all about, and then I will turn it over to our wonderful panel. My name is Janet Neal, and I am the founder and queen bee at the Superbwoman Incorporated. And I started the Superbwoman because I have a belief in the power of women. I believe that women can change this world in an instant, and boy, do we need it when we realize it. And so the Superbwoman is all about providing the resources, the tools, the encouragement, everything women need in order to find that innate power. And it's also about getting rid of the Superwoman mystique. Because I don't know about you, but the Superwoman role doesn't work. It only results in burnout and frustration and a lack of productivity, frankly. And so I'm all about helping women to instead become Superbwoman. It's all about the be. It's all about being first, about aligning with who you really are, what's important to you. And when you do that, oh my goodness, look out. Amazing things happen. And I have 3 women right here on this panel today that are perfect examples of that. So let me, without further ado, turn this over to Anne Akers. And let me tell you a little bit about Anne, first of all. I've known Anne for a couple of years now. We met through networking. And Anne is one of the most generous, giving people you will ever meet, and also one of the most connected. And she has been instrumental in helping me move forward with my passion, with my businesses. And she is one of the executive council members of the Tribe of Superbwomen, an online community of women who are comfortable in their own skin, women who believe in the power of women helping women. And so one of the benefits of membership of the tribe is that the tribe members can host a webinar like this, and we do these monthly. And so Anne is a cause connector, and that is her specialty as an executive council member. And she's available to help women to figure out what's their cause and what's the best way that they can use their own internal resources and external resources in supporting those causes. So let me tell you the official bio of Anne. She was awarded the Smart CEO Brava Award for entrepreneurial leadership with a sense of give back to the community. Anne has channeled her professional and personal background into causes focused on female empowerment, women's health, financial literacy, and veterans, including board service with the Skin Cancer Foundation, Turn Us All Wellness, Voice for Ovarian Cancer, and most recently, shining service worldwide in Operation Reinvent. She has also worked actively with the American Cancer Society, the National Osteoporosis Foundation, Samuel Waxman Cancer Research, Savvy Ladies, and the Institute for Economic Empowerment of Women on various platforms. I'm exhausted. But she is amazing in what she does. And I'll let Anne tell you a little bit more about, how she got into this, and let her introduce our fabulous guests. So Anne, welcome, and take it away.
Thank you. And thank you, Janet, for, first of all, articulating all of the values that we women on the panel today and all of your tribe audience so richly embrace. I think you are the spokesperson indeed for the tribe, and we're all happy to be a member and a part of what you're doing. Our event today, and I'd really like to focus on our 2 guests. So I thank you, first of all, for the opportunity to speak about cause connections and the art of giving. So I have a question for your listeners. When you think of charitable giving, what comes to your mind? Indeed, I think we all acknowledge there are many forms of giving, and it varies from person to person. Giving can be of one's time, it can be of your experiences, it can be of your resources, but ultimately, giving is of oneself. So whatever form of giving you choose to embrace, first and foremost, giving, to my way of thinking, is a measure of your love, and it's a measure of your humanity. One of my favorite quotes, which really sums up the whole philosophy beautifully, comes from Winston Churchill, who said, "We make a living by what we get. We make a life by what we give." So today it's my great, great pleasure and honor to chat with two extraordinary women who have truly mastered the art of giving. Nancy Northrop, who's the co-founder of Operation Reinvent, a not-for-profit that's dedicated to helping female veterans find community and meaningful resources for life after the military. And Sue Matthews, founder of Taybanz, Kidz Curing Cancer, which addresses the growing incidence of cancer among our children. So Nancy, I'm going to start with you. Over the next 4 years, this is an interesting statistic, more than 100,000 women will transition from military into civilian life and the very competitive U.S. job market. Every week, hundreds of women are instantly plummeted into an unfamiliar landscape from the military into civilian life, which is often scary and virtually unknown. What inspired your commitment to these sometimes unforgotten women, and how does Operation Reinvent address the unique problems of this population?
Happy to answer that, Anne. But first, I want to thank Janet for establishing the tribe. I think that it's absolutely true that when women help women, amazing things can happen. And Anne, thank you for that very eloquent and touching introduction, and focus on the love that we get is equivalent to the love that we give. The reason I got involved with Operation Reinvent is because I'm a military mother. My son Andrew is a lieutenant in the Navy who is in his 6th year of active duty. And when he graduated from college and announced that he wanted to be a naval intelligence officer, I was shocked, concerned, but off he went. He chose his path of service and went off to officer candidate school, which was very challenging. And it was then that I became aware of the very special challenges that women face, both in the military and especially when they leave it. Additionally, I have a background in the beauty business, and that gives me a really great understanding and experience of what women want and need. Feel confident, attractive, powerful in their own skin so that they can perform and inject passion and excellence into whatever they're doing. And the military is a very safe, if you will, although obviously there are hazards, occupational hazards that very few of us as Americans choose to follow in this vocation. There are only 1.2 million service members today, and of that number, only 15% are women. So it's a very unusual and small group with great skills. But within the military, it is an equal opportunity employer. Your pay grade is your pay grade, regardless of gender. But in the civilian workplace, even today, it persists that women still earn only 79% of what men do. The benefits of military service are significant: healthcare, vocational training, cost of living allowances, tax-free, obviously, 30 days of vacation. But the trade-off, obviously, is that you agree that you will serve and go anywhere that Uncle Sam sends you. And when you leave, all of that disappears. So one of the most daunting things that we've experienced in our program for women who are transitioning is the great fear that they have of the unknown. And we want to provide them with tools that can actually help them translate their military experience into meaningful civilian careers, and we want to help them thrive. Another issue I think that we all should be aware of is that women tend not to self-identify as veterans once they leave. We're not sure why this is. And also, in our society, women aren't necessarily recognized as veterans. On Veterans Day, we celebrate their service, but most of the imagery, if you think about it, is all male, or most of it is male when we come to November 11th. So some of the challenges that we see them facing is recapturing their femininity, because in the military you are genderless, and you really have to suppress any femininity there to fit in. It is a man's world. You try harder, and you don't want to be perceived as weak. So we want to, and we do actually help them reestablish and embrace their feminine power through our program, which we'll get to in a moment. They need confidence as they leave. The community and the network that they've built over their years of service disappears once they step out of uniform. So it can be a very lonely and isolating experience. And also, I think I know that in the military, there's always a mission. There's a sense of purpose and camaraderie, and there's a sense of purpose that they need to find. And our program helps them establish parameters with which they can actually plug in their military service into career paths that are meaningful to them. And also establishing financial stability is a key ingredient to reentry into civilian life.
Maria, it really helps us understand, the psychological and emotional aspects of the returning veteran. In a word, what would you describe as the mission, the core mission of Operation Reinvent?
Our job is to provide a program where women can and the tools and resources that can help them transition from the military into productive civilian careers. And our ultimate goal is to connect them with companies who are looking for the talent and the values that these women veterans bring to the workplace, and who have jobs that fit their skills and experience and passion, because we know that they make great employees. They have integrity, loyalty, punctuality, teamwork, and an interest in accomplishing a mission. So they're very goal-oriented.
So, any returning veterans that may hear this webcast, or any of our listeners who know returning veterans, because this is such an excellent opportunity, what are the criteria for women entering your program? And is there any cost for entry?
The criteria, actually, our program is performed on the military installations, and the gift that we have is that we are able to connect with these women before they ever leave the service, because preparation is absolutely key. There is no cost to it, and the program actually encompasses 2 days with a year-long carry forward, so that we provide ongoing resources and mentorships to help them as they transition out. The first day of the program is geared toward understanding your strengths, your value, and who you are as a potential employee and as a woman in the workplace. One of the key ingredients that we offer that has been extraordinarily instructive is a personal profile given by Caliper that actually matches their skills and behaviors and competencies to job families that they can actually target. So this is really important. We have resume skill building, networking skills, interview skills, and actually we bring corporations into our midst so that the participants can actually interface with companies who are looking for veterans and talented employees. So that's the first day of the program, and we are able now to be, through technology like this, to provide it via web conferencing to installations all over the country. So we're really, really happy now that we can scale our program, because as you mentioned, Anne, we have an enormous number of women leaving the service. 24,000 a year are coming out, and 60% of them will be looking for civilian jobs. So we have lots of work to do.
Yeah, so this is, really an amazing network, and, with the gift of technology that we all embrace in this decade, it's the opportunity to webcast, for example, from a site here in New York. We were recently hosted by CBS, who has a veterans network, and in that way, the channels go out all over the country with very gifted speakers and presentations simultaneously. So all of the while, there is no cost to the veteran for these services. Is that right?
Absolutely not. It's free. And it's been really exciting to see the response that we've gotten from, we've been working with the Army primarily now in 2 major installations, and the support that we're getting from the military, who recognize the fact that, it's difficult for anybody transitioning. Believe me, everyone has a challenge leaving the service and finding their path. But for women, it's even more daunting. So it's been great to see the kind of response that we've gotten from leadership in the Army that really says, come on over and let's make it happen for our females. One of the really interesting things too is, just on a personal note, is watching the transformation that happens during this 2-day period. It's very rare that women serving in the military will find themselves in a room of colleagues, like-minded service members who are all female. And when they come in, they refer to themselves as female, but we say, it's not ma'am, it's not sir, it's Nancy, it's Julie, it's Anne, it's Sue, it's Janet, whatever. And they wear their first name for the first time in many years. And one of the other things that's just enormously interesting and heartwarming is the second day of the event is all about professional image. Now, these ladies haven't worn makeup. They pull their hair back in a bun. They really, really suppress their femininity because they have to be taken seriously and to advance their careers in the military. So the second day, we have been so fortunate to have the support of companies like CVS Health, who sends us tons of makeup. Fantastic Sam's is a division of Desange, which is a very large salon chain in the U.S. They have 1,100 locations. They actually fly in their makeup artists and hairstylists. Macy's does a fashion show to show these ladies how to put their civilian uniform together. And the second day is absolutely transformative. One of the most compelling things for me personally is at the end of the day to see the palpable confidence and metamorphosis that these women have gone through in the course of 2 days. And without question, they say, I feel confident. And it's just so remarkable. And the stylists, who are the givers, it's just such an amazing experience for them to actually touch these women and make it happen for them, woman to woman. And we've had, we have to reapply mascara quite often because it's just such a bonding experience for everybody. So I'm in this for the long haul. We want to serve as many women as possible, and we've gotten some traction. So with the support of this audience, thank you so much, Janet and Anne, for making it happen. I'm privileged to be working with this group, and we want to make it grow nationwide.
Yes, and Nancy, your enthusiasm is palpable. We all want to jump out of the screen and give you a big hug. And I know in your work with these women, and you've had the opportunity to meet a lot of these women one-on-one. Is there one particular experience or one woman that stands out in your mind, and an experience that you'd like to share with us as far as the transformation? And I notice you're wearing a butterfly necklace today, which I associate with metamorphosis. You are, in fact, creating metamorphosis with these.
We are, in fact. One woman, she was a major in the Air Force, said, I feel like a caterpillar that's turned into a butterfly. And actually, the butterfly is part of our logo. There are 2 instances that I'd like to share, one of which actually showcases this great sacrifice that these women make when they agree to perform in service to the country. There was a lovely young woman at Fort Bragg who had been in service for about 16 years. She was transitioning out, and she was a linguist, very, very bright. Now, to be a linguist in the service takes enormous intellect and performance. And so the attrition for those who are trying to become linguists is significant. It maybe 10% of the people who go into that special program survive. Well, she learned Farsi and was then shipped out to Afghanistan, where she wasn't able to shower for a month, where there isn't even a word for blouse. And she was a cultural liaison. She came back. We have images. If you go to our website and look at the videos, she's the one who's wearing red lipstick, great, beautiful black hair, and lets it down. And it's just like, I'm a girl again. It was just wonderful. So that's just illustrative of the sacrifice that they make. The other thing that we learn collectively from our groups is that they're so surprised that we are there to help them. In the service, you don't ask for help. You suck it up. You're part of a unit, and you don't ask for help. And to be able to support them and give them the knowledge that we are there to help them. And it's not just 2 days and done. We are there for them. And so that's the thing that is just so rewarding about this, because, you know, in the military, it's a given. You know the path. You know what the drill is, if you will. And coming out is it's like going to a foreign country and not knowing the language or having any of the currency. So we're there to educate them and provide as many resources as we can, and build our program to address many facets of what it takes to thrive in civilian life.
Okay, Nancy, I have 2 questions for you. Actually, I think we'd all like to chat for the rest of the day. But Operation Reinvent is a young organization. I believe it's only 3 years old. So in a very short time, the work has inspired partnerships with leading Fortune 200 companies like CVS Health, who's a large employer by the way of the military. So what do you think is the impetus of companies like CVS Health in wanting to come on board with your work? And also a second part to that question is, what do you see as the future of Operation Reinvent going forward?
Okay. I think companies like CVS, we've had the support of CBS Broadcasting. We have NetApp, which is an IT company supporting us, and other IT companies like Techmark. The panoply of opportunity for a company who recognizes the fact that this is a talent pipeline. You know, talent acquisition is a very steep hill to climb within corporate America. And often I've had people from major corporations say, gosh, I've got all these jobs, I can't fill them. So one of the things that we really want to focus on is expanding our reach to companies. And if people in the audience today, if you are part of a company or know companies that have hiring needs, for heaven's sakes, let us know, because we are essentially in a place where we've screened these women. They know who they are because they've got their profiles, et cetera, and some resources and energy and a need for sure to find the right jobs. So that's the first question. The second one was, what do I see in the future? We'd like to make Operation Reinvent a place on the web where military women can come regardless of their status, whether they're transitioning out or maybe they slipped through the cracks and didn't have the advantage of this kind of program, so that through our technology, we can offer programming like what Janet's doing today that gives topical information that's very valuable, and connecting them, linking them to resources. I think one of the other areas that we would love to expand into is wellness. You know, there are lifestyle changes that happen when you're out of the military. You know, when you're in the military, there's physical training and all of that business surrounding your performance. Coming out, I think there are obvious wellness needs. There's a lot of stress in transition. There may be some medical needs. And there are all kinds of programs, such as Anne is very involved with right now at Tournesol, that can support them in a lifestyle change that will be satisfying.
And Nancy, I see a message just came in from Sade. She says, what wonderful work you are doing. And how can I help? So I think, all of our listeners today and into the future would like to know how they can be in touch with you, your web information, and how they can help going forward.
You can be in touch with us at operationreinvent.org. I encourage you to go to the website, look at the videos, see the impact that we're making, and donate if you can, and share this cause with your friends. It takes us $500 to put a woman through our course. So let's, just spread the word. I think one of the biggest challenges has been to expose audiences like this to the fact that we exist. So we need your help. If you know companies that can help us, that would be great too. So the way to connect is operationreinvent.org. And my email will be shown. Janet, I'm sure, will make sure that she communicates my personal email if you have questions. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Nancy. And I want to give you a personal salute. Now it's my great, great honor to introduce Sue Matthews. Sue Matthews is truly a Renaissance woman. There are not enough words in the planet to describe Sue Matthews, but Sue is a mother. She's a wife. She is a friend to me and to so many other people. She has such a wide community of people who have support her and who join her in her cause. Her cause, which was founded in 2003, again, is Taybanz, Kids Curing Cancer. So just a little bit of background. Taybanz became a 501c3 charity in May 2003 when Sue's daughter, whose name was Taylor Matthews, was diagnosed with bone cancer. So although Tay lost her battle in February of 2008, Taylor has remained a beacon of hope in the battle against pediatric cancer. Sue, will you tell us about your work in starting this public charity and your core mission?
Well, first, I just wanted to thank Janet and Anne for giving me this opportunity to speak about pediatric cancer, which is widely misunderstood and devastatingly underfunded by the government, and for your beautiful introduction of me, Anne, and God bless Nancy for the work that you do. Starting a public charity was actually very easy for us because the shock of my daughter's diagnosis soon gave way to the alarming reality that treatments for Taylor's particular disease had not changed in over 40 years. It was difficult to tell my daughter this news, and her question, which we made light of, was, "Really, Mommy, treatment hasn't changed in as many years as you are old?" Which clearly was many years ago. But we were all horrified, and Taylor took it on her own to wage a war against cancer. In our case, it was very easy to start a public charity, as many were attracted to the fact that Taylor was only 11 years old, had declared a war against cancer, was fundraising and raising awareness while undergoing multiple surgeries, chemotherapy, days, weeks, and months in the hospital. My husband and I and friends were obviously instrumental in getting the charity off the ground and helping her. However, everyone wanted to hear Taylor's story. She was a hero. It was very easy to get media attention. In those days, it was ABC, CBS, NBC. We didn't have the social media technology that we have today. After we lost Taylor, fundraising has become much more difficult. She's no longer the hero, and people don't want to hear about a child that passed away from cancer. And Anne, you had also asked me what our core mission is. Our core mission, determined by Taylor, and what we are chartered for as a 501c3, is to raise awareness and fund pediatric cancer research. Our goal has always been, and will always be, to provide cutting-edge research to children now, not many years from now or miles of bureaucratic red tape from now. We'll never stop pushing the boundaries of conventional therapy, dated public policy, and the log jams that keep good drugs in the lab and out of the hands of people and children in the clinic.
Yeah.
Taylor always said to me, "Mommy, if I could save the life of one child, it would all be worth it." And we're very proud to say we have actually accomplished her mission. We have data from actual patients, from actual hospitals, that we have saved lives.
And Sue, we're going to return to the data, the statistics, the research, all of the things that are so important in your work going forward. But we feel, and those who know you feel like we know Taylor. Her spirit is living. She is with us. And I know you've shared with a circle of friends some stories about Taylor that are so special. And if you're comfortable, maybe you could, give us one of your favorite stories about Taylor, because she lives with all of us.
You know, Anne, that is such a beautiful thing to say with me, because all I have are her memories and keeping her alive. So to say that she lives on with you and many of my friends is really giving me a means to survive life and to embrace life and realize she was here. It's been almost 9 years since she passed right now. I guess one of my favorite stories was, and there's many because we're known to be rule breakers, and she followed rule breakers in a way that does not harm other people, but was in her favor. And one, after a particularly grueling lung thoracotomy surgery where they took out about 50 mets and a lobe of her lungs, it was, the surgery was 4 days before Halloween and 5 days before her birthday. And she was determined to get out of the hospital in time for Halloween and in time for her birthday, which was virtually impossible. We tried to give her reality that this was not going to happen. So she took her chest tubes out after 10 days, which probably should have stayed in 4 or 5 days, suffered the consequences of that, came off her IV pole of pain medication, suffered brutally the consequences of that, all in an attempt because she knew all things needed to be done to leave the hospital by Halloween. The doctors, their compassion is sometimes there, sometimes it's not there. One of her main oncologists came in and said, "Taylor, how are you feeling?" And she said, "Fine," and asked him to come around to her bed to show him that she no longer had chest tubes or an IV pump. Rather unenthusiastically and uncompassionately, he said, "Taylor, that you still need oxygen to go home. You're not going to make it out of the hospital." Well, that was only the spark that she needed. So the night before Halloween, my other daughters had come in and decorated her room, and we were actually sitting outside on a stool, putting spider webs on the walls to decorate from Halloween. And her surgeon came by and said, "Taylor, you can't leave the hospital because you need oxygen." She pushed me away. She was not going to be defeated, but at the same time, she actually was defeated. So I said to the hospital and the doctor, "We'll just get portable oxygen tanks to bring home." To which the social workers and their answers were, "That took days." We fought through the night, broke every rule, and she ended up leaving Halloween morning with oxygen tanks at home, went trick-or-treating on a Segway, which I don't know if most people know that, but those are electronic machines that police officers and Disney World people drive around on, with her portable oxygen tank, and then was home for the next morning for her birthday. So we fought the rules, broke the boundaries, snuck out of the hospital all the time because I didn't think it was right not to give a child fresh air for, a month at a time. Security always came following us, always called my cell phone, to which I didn't answer. So she fought and lived, celebrated life, and lived every moment she was given.
And I think, Sue, this example of breaking the boundaries, of fighting through with determination, of your example of a family unit working together, I think will be extremely helpful to, many parents who are dealing with various forms of cancer. So statistically, most people don't realize, and this is a statistic that you shared with me, that 1 out of 285 children in America will develop cancer before their 20th birthday, an alarming statistic. And the incidence of invasive pediatric cancer is up 29% in the past 20 years. So you've touched on some of the research that is being done, and you have been responsible for funding some, very significant programs through major medical institutions and hospital centers. So, if you'd like to capsule the research that's being done, to give our kids a fighting chance, and more importantly, on a personal level, because I think you speak to the mother one-on-one. How do you find the best treatment available for your child's particular cancer in this vast bureaucracy that you've alluded to?
It is actually fairly easy to find the treatment and be given different treatment options. Unfortunately, many of the doctors leave the answers up to the parents to decide what best treatment option for your child. we found getting second, third, and fourth opinions was very easy. We asked our doctors, our current doctors, what institutions we should call. And by doing research just on Google, we were able to find easily doctors that specialize in our daughter's type of cancer. My husband had many, many phone calls to doctors and researchers, had fabulous consultations. We implemented treatments based upon their recommendations, and all those phone calls were free. So it was very, very easy to access different opinions. In Taylor's particular case, she was misdiagnosed. We didn't find that out for 3.5 years. So she was actually poisoned with the wrong chemos for 3.5 years. And I would suggest, not based upon confirming a diagnosis, because that's extremely rare, but I would suggest to every parent to send out the biopsy results to many hospitals. That also is extremely easy. You just contact pathology. It's a nominal fee, around $25. They handle the specimen, send it out to different hospitals, where different oncologists, different pathologists may look at the same tumors, cancerous cells, and have a different approach. So it's actually, Taylor, I really hate to say it publicly, but the truth is that we were told not to treat her. She was completely metastasized at age 11 with virtually no symptoms. And they told us not to treat her, just go on vacation and give her 3 wonderful months to live. I don't know day one after diagnosis how I had the strength to say, you are absolutely kidding me. My daughter was in school yesterday with no symptoms. We're going to fight this till the end. And she lived just shy of 5 years. And those are 5 years that I would never give up for anything. And that was because we fought the system.
Exactly. You fought the system. You fought the battle. You played by your own rules. And 5 years is a very precious period of time. So I hope that's encouraging to anyone that has a family member that's dealing with any kind of illness that is termed as terminal, because there's always hope. And, you are the single inspiration and the meaning of the word hope. So despite these statistics, again, which you mentioned, pediatric cancer research is vastly overfunded. The U.S. government continues to allocate a mere 4% of its $5 billion cancer budget to pediatric cancer research. So what can the average citizen do to raise awareness? And what is your website for further information?
Well, the average American student, the best way to reach the government is through Congress and their particular House of Representatives in their district, their House of Representatives. And the way to do that is to get access to their Twitter accounts and their email accounts. Once a year, there are 2 pediatric cancer action days actually on the Hill. Myself, my daughter, and several of our board members. I live in New York. I live in New York City. So we lobby with our senators and our particular district, our House representatives, to increase pediatric cancer funding. At that time, I'm given a link by a National Coalition Against Cancer, to which Taybanz is a member of, a very powerful organization, to a map across the entire United States of who is your senator, this is their email, this is their Twitter, who are your House of Representatives, what is your email, what is your Twitter. So I reach out on social media to suggest and have people push the government. As well as we have many senators and many House representatives. Congress is behind us. The current bill is called the STAR bill, which is survivorship, treatment, accessibility, and research. What most people don't realize is if Taylor lived 4 years, 8 months, if she had lived 5 years, 1 day, she would be in that 80% statistical cure, considered being cured. 2/3 of every survivor lives with chronic, sometimes very serious health diseases, and many times they get a second malignancy from the first treatment of chemotherapy. So the chances of living 30 years after surviving a pediatric cancer diagnosis are extremely low. It's also from the treatments, that attack your heart and your other organs. So that's the essence of survivorship. Treatment is increasing treatment funding. Accessibility is the pharmaceutical companies only 2 drugs have been approved for pediatric cancer in the last 30 years. whereas almost 300 drugs have been approved for adult cancers. Pharmaceutical companies are very reluctant to put into trial pediatric cancer medications because if there's a death, it obviously is more exposed because it's a child. And it's not profitable. There's just not enough kids with cancer. So accessibility, that part of the act is that pediatric cancer oncologists and hospitals will be given access to medications that are currently in the labs in these pharmaceutical companies so they can possibly decide if these adult treatments can be used for children. And research, the R in the STAR Act is, to increase funding for research. So I would say on the day that we lobby Congress, there's maybe several thousand people that are involved, and it includes intense training, but they represent many states in the United States, and we continue our follow-up through emails for reaching our senators, our House representatives throughout the entire year.
Right. And bravo to you for that. September, I believe, is National Pediatric Cancer Awareness Month, of which you have been a part for many years. Over the years, also Taybanz has launched several public awareness campaigns. One of them, which was called Tunes for Tay, which was performed on college campuses nationwide. Maybe you'd like to tell us a little bit about that and any future plans you have for public education campaigns and, sustaining Tay's memory.
Yeah, we do strongly participate in what we call Gold events in September. Many of those events we participate in and organize, and many get national attention. For one example is at 8 p.m. one night in September, Times Square goes gold. The NASDAQ goes gold. The Toshiba Tower goes gold. They put a gold ribbon up. Everything goes gold. We're still working hard with the Empire State Building to make that happen. But there are many bridges across the country that go gold. So that raises awareness dramatically. We also raise awareness and try to help other people through posting a weekly blog on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and on our website. Our website is under construction right now, and it should be out in about a month, but it's going to provide a wealth of knowledge to help parents going through a diagnosis with a pediatric cancer diagnosis. So, and through Facebook, I get a tremendous amount of comments from parents, and a lot of grandparents have had to deal with their diagnosis. So I respond myself to a lot of their answers and just try to get information out, on social media links.
And, recognizing the power of social media, I think this will be extremely helpful to parents. So as a mother, and I neglected to mention that you also are a brilliant businesswoman from a financial background, but as a mother, you fully understand the problems that parents are facing, the fear, the grief, and the whole process of the needs of a sick child. So do you have a single piece of advice for the loved ones of a child dealing with cancer, or any of us dealing with family members with a form of cancer?
I don't have a single word of advice, so I'll try to be brief in what I'm saying. But it may sound very cliche, but it really is the truth, and it really worked in our situation, was to celebrate every day of life. Kids are kids. Kids still want to have fun. Kids with cancer still want to have fun. Embrace every moment as much as you possibly can. Live in the now. I know it sounds cliche, and I know it's very difficult to do, but I wouldn't miss one single day with my daughter in those 5 years. She was 11 to 16, critical ages when she was, became a teenager. She had a boyfriend. We let her go to as many events as we possibly could, as many parties. So she really celebrated every moment of life. And she'd be the first person to tell you, which I don't believe, but she would say, "Mommy, I really didn't suffer," which obviously is not true. I watched her suffer brutally. But she took every moment and said to me, I asked her when she was on full-time oxygen 3 weeks before she passed away, "Why are you not angry again that you're hooked up to a portable oxygen tank, can't go to school, can't go to Sweet 16s?" And she said to me, "Mommy, what do I have to be angry about? Everybody loves me." So she felt the embrace of her loved ones, her friends, her family. They really got her through treatment. So I would also tell people to surround themselves with the love of their family and friends. And many people don't know what to do. They absolutely don't know what to do. They say the wrong things. You have to forgive them for saying the wrong things because they're uncomfortable. And it's also awkward when, particularly me being very hands-on with my children and anything I did, it's awkward to ask for help. But people really want to help. So to ask for help is dramatic. And additionally, one thing that worked very well for me, and I've talked to many parents about it, is to compartmentalize your fear. You can't live in fear and anxiety and stress every single day. When it happens to be a normal day, well, it's a new normal day. There are very few normal days. But when scans are not right around the corner, when treatment is going okay, embrace it. Don't think about it. The best advice anyone gave me is only think past the next 5 minutes. Don't take it on. And when you hit rough spots, and you will hit many, and when scans are coming on, embrace the sadness. Scream, cry, let it all out. Hopefully you're able to do that in the shower, not in earshot of your child. My husband and I felt it best to contain our own fear, and Taylor truly believed, even saying it 2 days before she passed away, I know, Mommy and Daddy, you'll take care of me. So that was a blessing for us, not to give the fear to her. But I was able to release my own fear by putting it in a box when things were good.
Well, Sue, that is golden advice. So we love Taylor through you. We love you and your family. And in September, we'll all be wearing the gold. So thank you for the interview today. And I'm going to turn this back to Janet.
Oh, you think I can do this without crying now? Thank you both. And Anne, thank you so very much for bringing these two wonderful women to our attention. It's just been wonderful. Sue, if you could, I know your website's not up yet, but could you tell us what it is, just in case?
I know there is a current website. It's just under construction. It sort of grew with Taylor, and it's a little bit immature at this point. But it is www.taybandz.org. Taylor named her organization. It's an odd name. That's why we added Kids Curing Cancer and Conquering Kids Cancer to it. But it came from Tay being Taylor, her name, and she started it out as what she thought was a $5,000 bake sale, where she was selling and manufacturing headbands, which we thought was strange since she was bald, but she went with it. That's how the original name came about. So you can reach us at that, or you could reach us at www.conqueringkidscancer.org. Kids spelled with a Z.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
If you Google us, we'll come right up.
Excellent. Well, I want to thank everybody that was participating today, especially Nancy and Sue and Anne for facilitating a wonderful discussion. We will have many more wonderful discussions as part of this webinar series. And I just want to encourage everybody to go and check out these wonderful organizations and check out the Tribe of Superbwomen, because there's a lot of wonderful is my key word here, obviously, but just amazing, powerful women who are perfect examples of this concept of being a superb woman. And we need all of you to put out this positive energy. So thanks to everybody who's joined us today, and have a great day.
Thank you, Janet.